Why do these things get weirder and sillier? Hello, everyone. I don't know what's going on with me. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hello, my name is Ben. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Part 3. Is the mic on? The mic is on. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. Not traditionally, but after this live thing has finished, usually this part of the video for the first sort of 5 minutes is really choppy and like the frames don't work. So maybe someone could help me fix that. And maybe it won't happen for the third one. Maybe it's 3 times the charm. But for video 1 and 2, it's like anyway. Oh my goodness, people are here. Hello everyone. So who have we got? We've got VV. He's a good friend of mine, Vivi. In fact, Vivi plays as a really fantastic has a really fantastic channel and a live stream on Twitch where he does like let's plays and stuff, and it's really fantastic. He has a great vibe, a great attitude, and he is also one of my very close friends. So hey buddy. Who have we got? We've got Dan the man, the hero from last session. We're actually going to come back and talk about that in just a second. If you haven't seen session 2, I basically for the last 30 minutes of that session flopped on my ass, and sweet Dan was there to save me like a knight in shining armor, and yeah, Dan saved my ass. And Dan's asking, how was DroidCon? Dan, it was fantastic. We'll talk about that in just a second as well. Hello, Louis, as well. And Vivi saying, nope, not third time a charm. Is it choppy, Vivi? Is it choppy? Are you seeing me? Or is it choppy? Because if it is, I have no idea what I need to fix. Maybe me and you, Vivi. Me and you will have a session after this to try and fix my problems. Oh, we got Mert as well. Mert, buddy, hello. Met you at DroidCon in real life. It was an absolute pleasure. Anyway, let's get into stuff because I have a full pack session, and basically, if you've been following, love you too, buddy. Vivi just said, love you, buddy. If you've been following I'm taking the socks off. That's how serious this is getting. If you've been following my live streams, you'll know that they're absolute goddamn messes of live streams. But I have a great time, and hopefully you will too. You might recognize this joke book. That's not the joke book. I grabbed the wrong book out of my drawer. I was last minute flailing like, what have I forgotten? And I was like, all right, I forgot the joke book. But instead I grabbed How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm going to get the real joke book right now. Just 1 second. It should be right in this drawer. I'm rummaging through drawers. Oh. I found it. The real one. Anyway, a bunch of you will hopefully recognize this joke book. What we do is we do some code. At some point, we do some code, some bad code. And then to try and entertain you, keep you engaged, and to win over your affection, I tell you jokes that are just terrible, make me seem like a better person because those jokes exist. What I want to do, I've got a couple of topics that I want to just talk about. We're going to do the upfront info. Hello, 7 people, by the way. Who have we got? We've got a bunch of people. Read me page 69 from that book. Vivi, 69's going on this thing immediately as soon as I've got through this. We're 69ing. Can I say that? I don't know. It meant page 69ing, obviously. And I shouldn't drink on camera, but it helps. Anyway, let's get to it. Patrice is back. Patrice, now you do know my secret. My Dale Carnegie is my secret. You should read that book, though, genuinely. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've learned a lot of what I do and know from this book. It's quality. And I'm rereading it again currently. But it looks very much like my joke book. It's a similar size. That's why I grabbed it. Anyway, I'm an idiot. And we know that. Anyway, right, let's get to it. I got a bunch of topics I want to talk about first. Then we're going to go into the code. We're going to do a recap. So anybody that's new to the session, I will recap you on what we did the last few sessions. And then we got coding to do. And I have a lot to do because I keep going super slow with it. First of all, let's talk about DroidCon. Good friend Dan, Dan the Superman, saved us last session with that whole sealed class when situation, asked, how was DroidCon? I spoke at DroidCon Berlin last week. Wait. Not this week, last week on Wednesday the 20th, on the main stage, the lovely stage 1, and it was awesome. And you probably know that I love presenting, talking, teaching, all that kind of stuff. I had an absolute blast, and I don't particularly like to toot my own horn about like how I did, but I was really, really, really happy with how it went. It felt good. It felt enjoyable. I was just smiling like an idiot the entire time. We talked about Compose and integrating Compose into my company's app. And it was a lot of fun, and we had a bunch of people come afterwards for questions. I got to meet some of you wonderful people from this chat. They actually came and said hello to me and asked me some questions. Great people, and Mert is one of those people as well in the chat. Hello to you, buddy. I even had a super peer session with him the other day. I'll talk about that as well in just a second. I've got a lot to talk about. But DroidCon was amazing, and as soon as there's pictures and videos, it all got videographed, and there was lots of really cool pictures of me looking like this with a little microphone next to my mouth, and a lot like this, and it was good. As soon as those pictures and videos become available, I will spam the literal hell out of my socials. So follow me on Twitter and stuff. Other than that, personal life, I went to, with Vivi, I went to the Essen board game convention in Essen, Germany to do board games, and a lot of board games. It's super nerdy. I love it. We had a great time. We played lots of games, bought lots of games. So that was fun. Just thought I'd tell you that I'm into board games in a sort of sneaky way. The sealed class incident that Dan the man saved us from last week, I want to just sort of bring up briefly because I was silly. Let's jump to the screen. I want to just explain what happened in case you are watching, you finished watching part 2 and you're going straight into part 3, then maybe I can explain myself a little bit. The problem was, and again, we're going to dive away from this, the code again in a second, but I just want to explain what on earth happened here, and then jump back to the notes. Basically, long story short, it was this when statement that caused me all the trouble. This when statement was questioning this ViewState variable that is a sealed class. Basically, it's a state containing this sealed class of loading, success, and error. And something was going wrong. I couldn't cast the variable properly, and I was freaking out. And if you've seen the last video, half an hour completely wasted. Completely wasted. But thanks to Dan, who swooped in to save me. Daniel, thank you. That got weird. We figured it out. And we basically needed to add this. We needed to, like, capture an instance of the variable, capture an instance of variable, and run the when against that, as opposed to this ViewState variable instance that I was doing there. I've put a link in last video's description to explain it a little bit better. But basically, I was being silly, and it's something that I do all the time, and I have no excuse, really. But it basically, there's this Stack Overflow article explains that it has the an open property or an open or custom getter. So it wasn't guaranteed the value to stay the same sort of each time that it was queried, which makes sense, I suppose. But basically, we needed to snapshot it. We need to grab it in that moment and query against the snapshot we had as opposed to the variable. So if you have questions about that, feel free to chuck them in the chat. I feel a little bit more clued up on it. And the reason that I'm like that it perplexed me so much is because usually in like a fragment, I would pass this variable into another function like render UI, and then then that inside the render UI function, we'd have the when statement. And of course, because I've passed in an instance of the variable, it's already done this sort of grabbing for me. So anyway, excuses. Let's jump back to my pretty face. I just wanted to mention that and again say thank you to Dan. And yeah, I bless you all for coming back, even though I've completely destroyed any sort of competent authority that I had at any point. But that's okay. You don't come for the competency, I assume. Yes, other than that, Hacktoberfest is almost done. I don't know if anybody cares to know this, but Hacktoberfest, I think I spoke about it last video, is this awesome thing, this event that GitHub and DigitalOcean run every October. And it's basically throughout the month of October, encouraging everybody to get involved with open source projects on GitHub. So if you sign up and participate for free, and you do 4 PRs that get approved during the month of October, you get a free shirt and a bunch of stickers. I do it every year. It's great fun. It is really nice to sort of get involved. This year I challenged myself. In past years, I've done like Bash stuff because I'm a big Bash fan, JavaScript stuff, and Android stuff, obviously. This year, for some reason, I challenged myself only Android stuff and try and do some Compose if I could as well. So that was good fun. But yeah, that's winding down. It's not too late. If you haven't already done it, head to... Let's jump to the screen again. Oh, I love it. Love this transitioning. Hacktoberfest 2021, you can sign up with your GitHub account. And if you can do it in the next... How many days we got left? 3 days, 2 days of October. If you can do that, then you should get a shirt as well. I'm not incentivizing you to really quickly do it for a shirt. Do it for yourself. Do it for you. Do it for you, Vivi. Vivi, I know you're still here. Do it for you, boo. All right, here we go. Let's stop being weird. How have we got 7 people still here and I've not bored people away? Amazing. Love you all. Welcome. Let me know in the chat. Say hello in the chat. Let me know who's there. Let me know who's here, listening, watching. Tell me where you're from. Tell me who you are. Tell me if you're coming back again. If you're here for part 3 because you need a little bit more being. You need a little bit more being. I've got to stop. Okay, stop with the camera zoom. I'm not allowed to use this hand anymore for camera zooming. Hot, Vivi says. Well, just hot, but I extrapolated a little further. Right, the final point I want to make, and then we can get into some code. In fact, the final 2 points I want to make, because I have to show this off. I got a Pixel 6. I got a Pixel 6. Everyone's like, we don't care. Leave us alone. I got a Pixel 6. I was using a Pixel 2, which is already somewhere in the drawer. And if you're hearing those words, Pixel 2, you should hopefully be going, how the hell did you survive so many years with a Pixel 2? Honestly, it was a really good, reliable phone, and I enjoyed it. But now, it was slowing down, it was getting old, and I thought it's time to upgrade. So I treat myself. Treat yourself! I said I wouldn't do any more zooms, but I'm enjoying it too much. So I got Pixel 6. Let me know if you would like to know more about the Pixel 6. Oh, Vivi says he has the Pixel 6 Pro. It came today. Cool. No, I'm good. I'm glad for you. I got the normal one. I didn't want the Pro because it was like even bigger and longer than this one. And this is heavy. This is like a brick already. It's crazy. And someone in the chat named, sorry, I'm going to butcher this name. I apologize about that. Zelasco. Apologies. Please write down how I should pronounce that properly. Zelasco. I'm going to say it like that, and it's going to be a mess. Says, isn't it a bit late for October? I mean, it is. But if you have the right motivation, come here, sit down. If you have the right beans inside of you, you can make this work. I believe in you. Zelasco. I believe in you. And he says kind of as though I'm pronouncing it close enough. I appreciate that. Mert, my dude, hello, good sir, asks what was the Android version on the Pixel 2. I don't. I'll tell you. No, it's fine. Christ, was it 9? 10? It must have been 10. I don't think it made to 11. I don't think I made it to 11. No, I think it was 10, honestly. But it was 10. It was 10. And that was the last one that they were sort of supporting for the Pixel. So I'm on 12 now, and things are just mad. Material me, Material you, Material Steve. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, that's kind of cool and weird and nice. It's cool to have a fast phone again. Anyway. Have we got 8 people here? Bless you for sticking around. Well, we're almost through these notes, I promise you. I have a funny last thing to say after I've mentioned this. I'm going to flip to another screen. Is it this screen? Flipping to this screen. See this? This? See along the bottom here? I'm not going to use this screen for coding in because it doesn't give me enough space. But thanks to the wonderful Mer in the chat who told me about this thing called Superpeer. I have signed up for Superpeer. I am a Superpeer, which basically means if you go to that URL there, superpeer.com/Ben Kadel, you can, I can provide you services. It sounds weird. Let me explain. I can provide you services. So if I just go superpeer.com, I can't type .com/Ben Kadel. Here you'll see my wonderful logo. And I have these 3 services that I say that I can provide. One of them is just a quick chit chat. If you want to grab a coffee with me and have a one-on-one session just saying hello, introduce each other, talk about stuff, then that's dope. Or I can do some code stuff. I can help with code. There's like an hour-long session where I can look at your code, give you advice, code review a PR or something like that. You know, anything like that. Code along with you, do a little pair programming or something. That's cool. And the final one is like, not that I feel adequate that I can talk about these things, but job and career advice. So, you know, just, I don't know. Some people find it interesting to find out about like my career path and stuff. So I would happily explain that and talk to people about their career paths. And of course, I say, of course, but stage advice. I really want to try and help people that want it to become better presenters and speakers, because I think we all have an important story. We all have our own stories. We all have our own things that we want to share with each other. And often the thing that's holding us back is our ability to share it well. That sounds super cheesy, but I would happily do some of that with you. And like, again, I don't feel qualified to do that, but obviously I talk all the goddamn time. I present all the time, and I used to do theater, amateur theater. Yeah, I used to do like theater as a kid, so I've learned a couple of things that I'd love to share with you. Anyway, superpeer.com/Ben Kadel. In case you're interested in my services, and let's see what the chat says. Provide me services. I'm in. You can definitely provide advice on that shiz. You rock. Bless you, Vivi. Bless you. Bless you. Let me give you a little kiss to Cam. It's got to stop being weird. Yazko, sorry. Your talk at Droid Berlin was great, so probably stage advice would be worth it. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, were you at DroidCon Berlin, good sir? Well, yeah, DroidCon Berlin. I appreciate it, really. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. I really try and pride myself on... Sure, information sharing and knowledge sharing is really important and valuable, but for me, I don't know why. I think it's just because I'm a bit of an idiot. I always try and push myself. The things that I share always have to be entertaining, because otherwise, what's the point? People can read articles, they can watch other videos. Even now, live streaming, I'm trying to be more entertaining because, you know, I don't want to waste your time. Your time is valuable. I want to entertain you as well as inform you. And with that... Jukes. Yes, I was. We also chatted a bit after. Oh my goodness, sorry. Asking about the lazy row performance issues. Oh, I remember exactly who you are now. Sorry, apologies about that. Yeah, we did have a little talk about performance and lazy row and stuff. If you've learned anything more, by the way, on that front, please write it in the chat. I've really not investigated further on the lazy column, lazy row performance issues. However, I have read a couple things on like Android study group, and in the so Android Dev Summit's happening at the moment. So in fact, probably most of you would prefer to be watching their videos that are happening right now live. That you'd prefer to be watching those videos. They covered there was a question in there like about, hey, lazy columns performance is awful. What are you going to do? And it wasn't like it wasn't an answered question. I just saw it in the chat a couple of times, and I was like, oh, interesting. So that's a thing. Anyway, so Vivi's calling me out. He doesn't remember who you are. He lies. I can recognize his lying face. Vivi, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, Vivi. Come here. Sit down. Everyone else, just go somewhere else for a second. Vivi, what are you doing? Guy, excuse me. There's people here. We have to treat them nicely, okay? Now, go get your toys. And, well, don't leave, please. Don't leave the chat. I need you. I need you for emotional support, but you get it. You understand what you did. I'm sorry that it had to come to that, everybody else. Everyone else, you can come back in now. Thank you for the moments of privacy. I have the number 69 written on my joke sheet, and that was from Vivi. I'm going to give you a joke right now to mitigate that emotional distress that you just had to witness, or that you didn't because you left the room. Anyway, let's do a joke quickly. Here's a joke. Oh, Vivi, you have the topic of dentists. Dentists. Personally, I hate the dentist. Here we go. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, again, I've got to wait for the crash zoom in a second. What was the name? What was the name of the Scottish dentist? Phil McCavity. Phil McCavity. Scottish dentist. I think I butchered that delivery, but I had fun delaying the outcome for as long as possible. You know, I kept you on the brink for as long as I could handle it. Phil McCavity, everybody. Oh, here we go. Vivi, my mum works at a dental office. Wait, is it a joke? That was a great joke. Oh, right. Wait, is the dental office thing a joke? You can't just pitch something up like that and then just disappear. Off I go. Oh, goodness. All right. 10 people. Hello. Abdul, hello. Welcome back, good sir. Hello, everyone. Hello. Much love. Right. One last piece of fun before we dive into the code. That is genuinely real. Okay, well, fair enough. You served it up like it was a joke, Vivi, and that was I was just like waiting for the punchline. We're 20 minutes in. One last story before we begin, because I love this story and I think you'll enjoy it as well. So DroidCon, right, happened. Berlin DroidCon. The wonderful Chet Haas was there, and I am a big fan of Chet Haas. What he does is what I want to do in the future. I want to do what he does, you know, technology stuff, but advocating, doing lots of presentations, talking to people. That's what I want to do. And he is like my idol, my hero. I know it sounds so cheesy. Anyway, so I was thinking the whole time of DroidCon, how do I approach this guy? Because he's literally right there. He's literally like meters away from me often. We're in the speaker's lounge. He's doing stuff. I'm like, how do I approach this guy without being such a massive, wet fanboy? And I, for the longest time, was just like, nah, I'm just not going to do it. Anyway, on the last day, he offered to sign copies of his book, right? I have his book. It's a great read. Androids by Chet Haas. That's the guy. Oh, it's blurry. Wait, there it is. Chet. There you go. And he was offering to sign people's copies of the book after his comedy keynote on the last day. So I was like, hell yes, I'll get my thing signed. It'll be a cheeky way to meet him. Anyway, I'm stood in the queue. I forgot my own pen, so the guy in front I had to pester. I was like, hey, can I borrow your pen? And then for some reason, when I got to Chet, I was thinking, right, Ben, you can't be like every fanboy, just like, oh, hey, Chet, have my book, sign it, please. Blah. I had to try, and Vivi, I'll show them the picture as well. I had to try and make him happy, like make him laugh or something. I had to try and like just not be a drain on him. And anyway, so what I did was he first of all took the book, and he was like, okay, I've got to think of something funny to put in the blurb. And I was like, just call me an asshole in the book. Just call me an asshole in the book is what I said. And he paused and he was like, oh. And then he spent like 2 minutes or 3 minutes not writing a thing, just like stopped, frozen, because he was like, what the hell do I write in this idiot's book? And I thought it was the funniest thing. Anyway, so he's there, and then he finally writes it and hands it back, and he wrote this, which is brilliant. Sorry, this is such a fanboy stream right now, but it says, Ben, insert actual blurb here. Chat. So he did sign it, and that was fine, and I felt like a little bit of an idiot to sort of throw him off his game in such a way. And then I even double down on my silliness, my fanboy stupidity, and I just have to try and find this image very, very quickly. Where is the chat? Where is the chat? I think it's here somewhere. Sorry, I'm just scrolling. This is a terrible idea. I should have organized this better. Vivi, which chat is it in? Maybe you can help me speed this thing up. It's not in that chat. This is atrocious. Is it in this chat? No. Vivi, maybe you can tell me which chat I posted the picture in, because I can't find it. Oh, I can just look at my Google Photos. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so, right, back to the story. After he signed my book, I was like, Chet, I don't suppose I can be a bit of a pain in the ass and ask for a selfie with you as well. Everyone else was doing it, and I found the picture. Everyone else was doing it, and I thought, okay, well, I might as well use this opportunity to get a photo. Is auto-rotate on? It's not, but I can click that. So, but as we were about to take the selfie, I was like, Chet, okay, hang on. Again, I was like, Ben, you got to try and be rememberable somehow or different. So I was like, okay, Chet, let's do it, but let's just pull stupid faces. We can't do a normal, let's pull stupid faces. And his response was, okay. And then this gorgeous picture was the result. Me just going like a full-on, and he is pulling the face that he pretty much responded with, like, this is a crazy lunatic. And then wonderful people like Vivi, who is in this chat right now, decided to like edit and add speech bubbles to it. And I'll show you his submission, because it was hilarious. Oh, where is it? Oh, I can't find it. Do you know what? I'll show it you later. In fact, Vivi, can you ping me up on the one with where he's thinking to himself about. In fact, you know what? Come on. I've got to put a bit of effort into this. I can't just put the work on everybody else. I will find this image, and it will be good. And you will love it, and you will laugh, and we will all have a great time. Is it here? Nope. 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 Vivi, I could really do your help right now. Oh, save me from myself. Is it in this group? Anyway. This is not a good live stream. Oh, there we go. I think Vivi, there he is. Vivi for the rescue. Amazing. Let me rotate this thing. Okay, so they were all basically editing the image just to add speech bubbles and thought bubbles and stuff. And this was one of the submissions that I thought was absolutely great by Vivi. So me thinking, what a hot, excellent person I am, and he's just like, what is this idiot? And there were some even better ones that we can't share because they're not super friendly for work, but they were very funny. I'll give you that. Anyway, that was the last story. Got my book signed, met my hero, was a complete idiot in front of him. Should we do some code? I guess we should do some code. Let's dive into the old coding stuff. Okay, before I like actually begin the recap, just remember that we are always doing jokes. We're doing jokes. So if you want a joke read at any point in this live stream, the next hour and a half, just write a page number from 1 to 280 in the chat. I'll see it because I'm watching the chat like a hawk, and I'll read you a joke from it. And it's that simple. We'll have a great time. We'll have some laughs. Other than that, bring your questions. If you have questions for me, now is the time. Now and the next hour and a half. Ask me anything. Ask me about Compose, DroidCon, my job, Kotlin, Android, trees, chat, YouTube, I can't list everything. I was going to list everything in the universe, but I couldn't do that. Dan says 13, and that's a joke, so we're going to do it right now. Get it out of the way. Dan, you always pick 13, I think, or am I going mad? I think you picked 13 last time. Let's find a fresh one. Here we go. Why were the letters U, V, W, X, Y, and Z late for the party? Because they all came after T. Because they all came after T. That's why they were late. Because they had the tea first. If you're not English, tea is dinner. Or maybe that is not English version. I don't know. They all came after tea. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Page 13. Nice. Dan, you should be happy about what you just did there. It's good, man. It's good. I appreciate you. Right. Let's do some code. To start with, let's recap what we actually did in the past few sessions. So let me just whip up a screen copy. I'll put it on the screen over here. Here is the app that we've currently been working on, running on my phone just over to the side here. I'm using a program called Screen Copy, SCRCPY. Check it up on GitHub. It's great. Mirrors your phone onto your computer. Great for demos. We're using the meal database API. So if I just show you that really quickly. So mealdb API. I'm just going to Google this. There we go. Free meal API. So it's this, and it gives you a free API that you can access to access a bunch of food dishes, recipes on how to make food and dishes. So we're making an app using that data. We want to make 3 screens, and currently we've done 1.5 screens. The first screen is a list of food categories. So this is a thing that we can look at. I'll be like, oh, vegan food, starters, pork, yada, yada, yada. You get the picture. This is all Compose. This is using retrofit to make an API call, and it displays the data on screen. I can then click on one, like chicken, for example, and this is the half a screen I was talking about. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Zelyasko. God, I'm sorry. I'm really struggling. So can I call you Z? I'm going to call you Z, if that's okay with you. Please let me know in the chat if that's not okay. I totally understand. I'm struggling with it. That's all. I'm also like one sider in. Anyway, Z asks, why does it say Pixel 4a? That's a great question. This is my not my phone, my personal phone. This is my personal phone over here, the 6. My 2 is in the drawer. This is actually a work-provided phone that I'm using for demo purposes, just because it's easy to plug in. It's a nice screen. But good question. I'm glad you called me out on that. Thank you. Call me Z or Zeko. Zeko, cool. Okay, I'll try. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Anyway, this is the half of the screen, and after that, we should be seeing really a similar screen to this, but with individual dishes that we then click on to go to the details screen. That's what's missing. That's what we're going to do today. Okay, let's just quickly scan over the code to get a rough idea of what we're looking at. I haven't touched this project since last time. We have, I hope you can see this in the top left, we have an app Gradle module. So this is a Android application module, and that is where all of our code is. We can talk later, maybe in future videos, about turning this into a multi-module application, which would be a really nice idea for build time performances and all that kind of stuff. Inside, we have a manifest that points to a single activity, the main activity. Inside the main activity, we are jumping straight into Compose. This set content block jumps into Compose. We're wrapping our app with our theming. We haven't done any of the theming yet properly, but it runs the Disher app. And inside the Disher app is what we did last session. We set up a navigation host. So a way for us to easily navigate between full Compose screens. And that's what you're seeing when I, the phone's not on the screen. When I click on something here, the nav host, nav controller is triggering a navigate option and navigating between these two composables. These two composables are essentially our navigation endpoints where we can navigate to. One composable is called category, which is that first screen, the category screen, and the other one is called the dishes, which takes some nav host arguments. I'm not going to go into this too deeply because we covered it in the last video, but this here is the way that you can pass arguments into your navigation and use them in the nav host here. So I could pass in a specific category ID in this case, pass it into my dishes screen, which is the one that we've got to carry on working on, and we can use that ID to trigger another API call to the meal database API over here to search for a specific, I think it's that. Hang on, I can just look in the code, right? Search for a specific dish with that information. Really nice. So these two composables are our navigation endpoints. Ooh, we got some chat. Sorry. Green Brain! Hey, G. How you doing, G? And G says, Seth says hi. Hey, Seth. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Seth. Everybody. Seth, join me in a sip of coffee. I don't think you can sip coffee, probably because you're quite young, but... And it's cold. It's cold coffee. I've been talking for too long. Anyway, hey G, look at all these wonderful people coming out. Hello all. Please get involved with the chat. If you would like to say hello, have any questions, just want to say something at me, just want to call me an asshole, I would love that. That'd be great. Please write in the chat. And also, if you would like to hear a joke from this joke book, all you have to do is write a number in the chat. A number from 1 to 280. That's a page number. I'll flip to that page, read you a joke, and we'll have a good time. In fact, I have a joke that I want to tell you all later. That's one of my new favorite jokes. We'll talk about that in a second. Ines, hello. Welcome. How are you? How is everything? Z says, nice, you're keeping your nav controller away from your screen composables. I don't like mixing navigation and UI logic in my composables too. Yes, Z. And in fact, thank you. You put me back on track here. One of the important things that I want to point out that Z has just said and sort of make other people understand, my nav controller, the thing that deals with navigating between these composable routes here, is only in the main activity. I do not pass this nav controller into anywhere. It doesn't get passed into a category screen or into a dish screen. It stays at this top level, and instead what I pass to these category screens is a lambda. This lambda block, for example, here is passed to the category screen called onItemClick, and obviously, if it should make somewhat sense, when the item is clicked, this lambda function is triggered, going back up the chain and leaving the nav controller in the main activity at the top level. I don't want to be passing that around. I don't. Instead, all my navigation should happen here. Maybe I can even abstract it into another class, but it should be one place. I don't want to pass that nav controller around. That's bad. That's bad faux pas words. Anyway, thank you for that, Z. Yeah, appreciate it. Hello. Right, so we've set up the two screens. I'm going to need one more in here. So this is a to-do, the final screen, the detail screen, we'll probably call it at some point. But other than that, we went into the dishes screen last session. And here's where we started to have some fun. This when block, we'll talk about that again in a second. I already covered it at the start of this video, my explanation of it. But anyway, so dishes screen, remember with the nav control, the dishes screen gets passed a category. Basically, the category ID that the dishes should be from. Then it triggers that ID, where is it? Category is passed into dishes screen composable and is passed into this disposable effect block. Again, won't talk about it here. Look for last episode's stream 2. Towards the end, we set up this disposable effect. Basically, when this composable comes to life, we can trigger something to happen. In this case, I call a view model get dishes from category and pass that category string down the MVVM stack into the view model, which goes down into the, where has it gone? Into the get dishes use case, which goes into the dishes repository, down the MVVM stack, which goes into the dishes service, which uses this filter endpoint for the meal database. Mertz asked, mate, is there any difference between Hilt view model and view model? Ooh, great question. Okay, so I talked about that in stream 1, I think, stream 1. So if you want more information, go back there. But I will quickly talk about this. This is awesome. This Hilt view model obviously isn't something that comes as standard in Compose or anything. I had to include in my build Gradle Hilt. This project is using Hilt as its dependency injection framework as opposed to Dagger 2. It's Dagger Hilt. It's a combination of two with the beautiful Hilt extensions and easiness on top of it. So what this Hilt view model does is very, very similar to the view models delegate, so the by view models kind of thing, the thing that you're asking about, the view model, but it does all the setting up for me. It does all of the, like, for example, in the navigation here, so when I'm calling these composables, it's setting up, do you know what? Let me click on it, command click. Sorry, I talked about this in the other video, so I'm probably making absolutely no sense here. But yeah, it basically sets up the view model for me. So I don't need to do all of the annoying view model factory stuff, all the view model stuff. But then in comparison to the by view models, it does something very similar, but it's got Hilt already like within it. Like it's already had all the injection stuff. Brain working. Because I inject things into my view model, it does all of the injection for me as well. All I need to do is equals Hilt view model, and it sets up the right instance, the right view model for me, and also keeps the instance of it attached to the life cycle of the composable. If that makes sense. It might not. Basically, long story short, this is dope if you're doing Compose and Hilt. Full stop. Like, use this if you're doing Compose and Hilt. If not, then what I'd recommend is back in your main activity, set up your view model the usual way and pass that into your composables there. Z asks, is it actually possible for a category to be null? It's a nullable argument in Dish's screen. Great question. So, yes. Actually, yes, it is. I think it actually is. We should test that actually in a second. So here where I do this, in fact, let's just do this right now. If I just set up a Dish's endpoint with nothing in it, right? So there's no category for it. Let's just see what happens. I'm going to run the app. But yeah, basically this type here is nullable. And there's actually this nav arguments builder has a nullable. Yes, it has a nullable parameter to it, so I can say if this variable is nullable or not, basically. So right now, I think it is. In fact, let me just put screen copy back on the screen, and let's see. Oh, there we go. I'm going to click something, and we've had a crash. Let me just go to log E. Let's see what it crashed out. Illegal argument exception, navigation destination that matches the request, could not find. Right. So actually, this is because I was saying, oh yeah, go to dishes / which is not an endpoint that I have declared. I always have something called dishes with something behind it declared. So it's always something. So yes, it's nullable, but no, it's like an illegal argument exception. If I don't call the right endpoint there, I have to provide something. Let's provide something weird like underscores there. I don't know. Let's see what that does. I think it's going to just be, I think it's going to get to our dishes screen. This argument won't be null. Because it will be underscores, but it also won't make any sense to the actual like API call. So let's go dessert lamb. Okay, and we've got an error that is just being presented right back to the UI. So yeah, great question. But there's to wrap it up nicely, you can specify the type of argument variable like you could do with safe args, but you can also say if this thing is nullable, and then I think if I say nullable equals false, right? It has to have something. What's up with you? Why are you doing this? Oh, right. Okay. Because it's a builder. Anyway, so nullable false. Let me see what happens there. I don't think this is going to do anything because it's just going to say, oh, yeah, dish isn't an accurate endpoint. I think I need to maybe look into this a little bit further. But yeah, there's this flag here, and you can read it up on your own a little bit more. Chicken and a crash again, which was, what was this crash? Come back. Where are you going? Where are you gone? What's the crash again? Yeah, it's just saying that's not a destination because it doesn't match any of the specified destinations. So hard to actually trigger a sort of nullable thing there, but it is nullable. Short and curlies. Ooh, Vivi says, knock knock. Who's there? Dishes. Dishes who? Dishes Sean Connery. Dishes Sean Connery. Vivi, come here. Come here. Everybody just stay there for a second. I'm blurry. How do I unblur myself? Vivi, you've done this. I can't believe you've done this. Okay, hang on. Wait. Oh, wait. Maybe if I press the refocus button. There we go. Do the accent. All right. Oh, do the Sean Connery. So, Sean Connery. Dishes. This is Sean Connery. That's fantastic. Good. I get it. I'm happy. You have been let off the hook again. You can come off the naughty step now, okay? Anyway, I'm still in the recap and we're 40 minutes in. I need to code. Yes. Anyway, we did the dishes screen. We set up the disposable effect that basically when this composition comes in, it triggers this, whatever I want it to trigger. And we can also do when this composable is disposed. So when it leaves composition, we can do something. We're not doing anything there, so we just left it blank. But for this one, we say, oh yeah, view model, do a call for us. The view model will use the category name that's passed by the argument, trigger in the view model scope a call to the use case, the getDishes use case, and I've already followed the chain right back down to the service layer. So it's doing a API call. However, the one twist that we had last session was the question was, can we wrap the response in like a sealed class UI state kind of situation, which is a really good practice to do, to model the different modes, the different ways that your UI could be. So it could be a successful UI, see some data. It could be an error, or it could be a loading. So we set up this sealed class called ViewState, and instead of just passing the data back to these compose state functions when we get the result, so here is getting the result, we wrap it in a success if it was successful, error if it was unsuccessful, and actually before this starts, we should do unviewState.value equals viewState.loading. ViewState.loading. So it's going to start with loading. Then when it launches the thing, it's either going to be successful or it's going to fail like it did just a second ago. And it's going to return the view state, either a error, success, or whatever. Anyway, so we did that. Oh yeah, and there's the this is the annotation for injecting with Hilt into the view model. It has its own. There's no more of this nonsense view model key stuff, all this boilerplate crap that you had to do with Dagger 2. With Hilt, you just tag your view model with @Hilt view model, and it does all the injection that you've specified in your modules for you. Amazing, brilliant, love Hilt. Can't explain it very well, but love it. Quick sip. Someone give me a page number. We had a dish of Sean Connery, but give me a page number. I want to entertain you. Or give me a joke to read out for you. I make you do the work for me. Give me a page number. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. I have to stop. No one's going to come back for stream number 4. Hello, 8 people that are here. How are you doing? Much love. Thank you for being here. Let's carry on. So we returned the page 15 from Mahesh. Mahesh, page 15. Here we go. Jokey joke time. Everyone, sit down, get comfy. Mahesh, you have the categories of... Oh, goodness, it's not going to work. Animals. Animals is the category. Get comfy. None of these are good. Ugh. Oh, fine. Oh, no. Oh, fine. This is really bad. I'm going to read the long one in the hopes that the payoff is good. I haven't even finished reading it myself, but we're going to read it together. Consider the poor hippopotamus. Consider the poor hippopotamus. His life is unduly monotonous. Oh, I see. He lives half asleep at the edge of the deep, and his face is as big as his bottom is. A limerick. A limerick, Mahesh. I love limericks, though. That was great, so thank you. I'm just playing. I'm not angry. Consider the poor hippopotamus. His life is unduly monotonous. He lives half asleep at the edge of the deep, and his face is as big as his bottom is. It's fat shaming. I won't have it. I will not stand by it. It's not okay. That poor hippopotamus. Anyway, limerick, Vivi says. I don't get it. I don't understand the question and I won't respond to it. Anyway, Dish's view model. Yeah, Mahesh, you should have the the face that you just pulled there. Brilliant. Anyway, back to the UI. So the Dish's screen then takes that view state, wraps it in a remember, so it's part of the composable tree. In fact, some of the Android Dev Summit videos that are coming out like yesterday and today, there's a really great one called, it's something like Thinking and Compose, but I know that was the old one. It's like the new way to think and compose. Really nicely explains this remember thing. But it's basically caching inside of the composable function. Anyway, we have this view state. We do the stupid grab an instance of that variable as it is for mutability reasons, because if we didn't do that, this whole smart casting system fails. We grab an instance of it, we call state, and then we say, hey, is state a success, an error, or a loading? And we present some UI depending on it. Right now, we haven't done any UI. You saw it was just text. It was gross. So we still need to do that. So I'm going to come and do that straight away. Also, what is that pinging noise? What pinging noise? If you are trolling me, you pronounced it incorrectly. Limerick. Hey, Bruno, welcome to the stream. I apologize for me and VV. I almost said anyway. VV asks, what is that pinging noise? I don't know what you mean. Am I doing something to the mic here? I heard a ping. Oh right, is it a phone? Oh, hang on. I guess I need to check my big ridiculous phone. Oh no. Okay. Vivi's done something. He's done something. If Chet has turned up in Ben Kadel's chat stream, he would lose his mind. Vivi's posted on Twitter. If Chet Haas, the person that we just talked about is my hero and that I made a complete fool out of myself in front of at DroidCon Berlin, turns up in my stream chat, I would lose my mind. I would. You just see me catatonically rocking, just going like, Chat, let's pull a city face, Chat, something like that. And if he ever sees this video, I'm sorry, Chat. I'm not an idiot. Well, okay, I am an idiot. I'm not a lunatic. I'm not clinically diagnosed as a crazy person. Let's end it at that. Might want to mute your phone. I wasn't actually intending you to read that. Oh. I thought you were... Okay, muting my phone. Lesson learned. Phone muted. Thank you, VV, for always very useful advice. Let's code something. We've got 9 people just sitting here waiting for me to do something. We got this when statement that basically says, hey, what's the state that's coming back from the view model? And let's render UI accordingly. So in this, I've just done text, but I would do something like, success state. Obviously, I'm not going to call it here, but success state and then render the UI there. What's the difference between live data and state? Ooh, now that's a question. Okay, so... jump back to the view model. After I've answered this question, I'll do a joke, and then we'll code. I promise. This state thing, if I just command click on it, you can see up at the top, it's a compose thing. It's a compose state that's passed. Don't get it confused with state flow of Kotlin coroutines, although that is awesome as well. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying that the two things are different. Excuse me. With Compose, they're making this big push to say, like, you need to provide a single source of truth for your Compose UI. And the Compose UI listens to it and renders accordingly. There's not anymore these view widgets that have their own internal state, like a checkbox would have with is checked, is enabled, all that kind of stuff. You have to pass state to the composable. And this state variable here is a nice way of us encapsulating whatever data it is, so in this case, a ViewState instance, inside of a composable state, so that when we go into composable functions, wherever they've gone, we can call this ViewState exactly like this in the view model. We don't need to do anything else. If I had a different kind of variable, I would have to do change in curlies. I would have to do mutable state of here, I think. Why am I not getting autocomplete? Oh, it's because I have misspelled it terribly. Mutable state of, and I've already done that in the view model layer, because state, because Compose uses state to dictate its data, its variable basically that it's rendering. So state is the Compose wrapper for data for the UI to listen to, and when the state changes, the UI will re-render and recompose. And live data is the other thing that was big in the Android world maybe 2-3 years ago. Still quite big. A lot of people are still hanging on to it, but could be now replaced with state flow, shared flow, stuff like that. Live data is a thing that is interoperable with Java as well. So that's one of the big important things. Live data is lifecycle aware data wrappers that can be observed, listened to in your UI layers, so in your fragments or whatever, can be observed and listened to for changes, and then obviously pass the UI state, like in this case, to the UI. However, there's this joke going around that live data is deprecated. It's not actually deprecated. People are still using it. People still love it. But it is, if you are sticking to the mad world, the modern Android development, then it's sort of deprecated, because now we have, like I said, state flow, which is a really great Kotlin flow mechanism. No more Java, no more needing to be interoperable with Java, passing a different state holder to the UI. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, state, compose thing, useful. Pass data to the UI to compose. Live data, a older-y thing that was enabled us to do like the observer pattern. You had live data that was lifecycle aware that would pass data to your UI. Both are still fine. And in fact, if you have live data inside of your view model, you can do, let's just pretend view model, let's just pretend the view model, I can't even type, has a live data variable called live data. We could do dot observe as state. And what that would do is convert all of the live data-y goodness into a compose state ready for the compose UI to consume. So that's really useful to know. Bruno, what do you think about the one source of truth state in case you have a really complex view? Would it be that the state data class is quite big? Great question, Bruno. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. No more do we have the UI, as I was saying before, holding on to state. Checkboxes is the example I always go to, like is checked. No more do those view widgets have that information. So no more do we have a view model that says, oh yeah, it's checked, and a view saying, yeah, I agree, it's checked. No more do we have that two sources of truth. We only have one source of truth. Is it checked? And you tell the checkbox, hey, you are checked, render accordingly. And that's it. The checkbox is like, I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm checked. I'm being told I'm checked, so I'm checked. And that's great. One source of truth. Your view models can really, really dictate the UI state now properly in the MVVM architecture pattern. So great question, Bruno. I love it. Great fan of it. Happy to talk about it all day. G, live data is dead. Long live state flow. Yes. 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 The man that I learned everything from, by the way, Graham Bryan in this chat. He is profound and wise and has just said in the chat, live data is dead. Long live state flow. I agree. Long live state flow. In fact, if I have time at the end of this video, I won't because I'm already like an hour in and done nothing. I want to tell you lot about a conversation I had with a GDE called Jossie Wolf at DroidCon Berlin, where we talked about navigation events in composables, and we ended up with the really interesting answer, or he ended up telling me the really interesting answer that a shared flow with a replay cache of 0 is the best way to do it from a launched effect. Anyway, really exciting stuff. Someone remind me if I have time later. I won't have time. But yeah, G, live data is dead. Mahesh, thank you. Aram says, I missed Ben's joke, so I had to come by even though I won't stay for long. Aram, well then in that case, my dude, say a page number and I'll do you one right now. I'll do you one right now. I'll do it. I'll read you a joke. Just give me a page number from 1 to 280 and I'll read it for you right now. And then you can go about your merry business. And I appreciate you swinging by though. Appreciate it greatly. As soon as I see a joke number, I'm going to do it, by the way. So just whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Yeah, so great questions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I love talking about this sort of stuff. Android development has never been more exciting, I believe, personally at the moment. It's really good. Things just work. Compose is amazing. Kotlin and coroutines are just bananas good. I love them so much. Anyway, fanboy. Oi. So I need to set up the UI here, and then we need to set up the third screen. What should we do first? Should we do some compose? Like, actually, in this thing, I've never done any compose. So let's do some flipping compose. We'll start with the success screen because that seems to be the one that's more important. If you type COMP and hit enter, it's a live template inside of Android Studio to give you a compose function. Aram has given me a page number of 21, so we're going to quick pause and flip over here. If someone's watching this for actual compose knowledge, I apologize, all of these breaks in between, but I want to interact with the audience, okay? Leave me alone. Here we go, 21. Aram, you have the topic of aviation. Aviation. Sit down, get comfortable. Let me quickly scan for a good joke. Oh my god, these were awful. Okay, I can't do that one. It's so bad. Okay, this one's pretty good. It's not good. It's not, but it's pretty good. Why do why do aircraft always fly past Peter Pan's house? Because of the sign saying Never Never Land. Aram, good stuff. Like it. Like it. If people in this audience have never seen Peter Pan or don't know what that is, then that makes no sense whatsoever. And I'm not going to explain it. Here we go. So I'm doing a composable. I want to, first of all, do the composable for the success state of the data. I'm going to probably call it, this is a terrible name. Let's just call it dishes success. This is, no, I can't. I'm just going to call it dishes list, because what it will be, we should name our things properly. What it will be is a list of dishes in like a lazy column. And what list of dishes is going to take? This state.data is a list of meals. I did that with Control-Shift-P, by the way, to give a little notice of what the data type is. So it's going to take we're going to call it meals, list of, oh my God, come on, type list of meal. And we're going to pass in that state.data. Great, we're going to get rid of the text box and all things are good. Meal needs importing. I did that with Option Enter to auto import. And now I have the data and I can present it. How am I going to do this? Let's just start. I'm going to do, do you know what I'm going to do? Lazy column. Lazy column. In fact, let me go back to the lazy column we did in the category screen, just to show you what I'm sort of aiming for. So we've already got our list of things coming in our other function. We've got a lazy column, which has this items API, basically like for a list of iterables, for a iterable thing, list of blah, we can present something in that way. And to help me, oh God, oh no, to help me speed up time a little bit, I'm just going to copy and paste because I'm already running really low on time, so we're just going to copy and paste this for now. So just to explain as I go, creating a lazy column, we're going to use the items API and pass it a list, an iterable. I'm going to pass it meals. It's going to take each meal and make whatever this composable is in the middle of it. It's going to render that composable like a recycler view. This is the new recycler view, the lazy column, and this is also lazy row. So I'm going to make another composable called single meal, maybe. We might even reuse that one later because that might actually come in quite useful, the single meal. I don't know. Let's just do meal and it takes a single meal. Over here, let me just delete this. Inside the items API, the items block, whatever. Each item in that list of meals is going to be rendered out. And what does it want to render? I want to render single meal and pass it item. Okay. For now, I'm just going to put text box in here, and I'm going to put the meal is, meal dot, is there a title? Meal, title, meal, string meal? I think that's the title name. Anyway, for now, each row is just going to be a single string. Let's run that and see what happens just to start off with, to know that we're on the right path. Jokes? Anyone want a joke? Get your jokes here. Put a page number in the chat. Chicken. Okay. Beautiful. Hit chicken, the category, went to make another API request, and chicken has returned a bunch of stuff. And you can see by default, this is already scrollable. The lazy column gives you like a scrollable if it can be scrollable by default. Each item has its own element. No need for stupid recycler adapters. No need for cycler adapters anymore. Recycler views are dead. Long live the lazy columns. Bruno said 110. Bruno? You got it. 110's good. A nice high number. Everyone sticks with like the low 20s, below the 20s. Here we go. Bruno, for you, what category is this? Food. The food category. Are you ready, Bruno? Oh, it's a limerick. Okay, it's a limerick. Here we go. Oh, it says Berlin. That's where I am. There was a young girl from Berlin whose nose was exceedingly thin. She could slice up the butter with barely a mutter and flip down onto her chin and flip it down onto her chin. What? There was a young girl from Berlin whose nose was exceedingly thin. She could slice up the butter with barely a mutter and flip it down onto her chin. Bruno. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. That's not your fault. It's the book. Although the book is never to blame, we did agree that. Good choice, Bruno. Page numbers in the chat. Say something to me in the chat, gang. Say something to me. How you doing? How are you? How is life? What's going on? Is anyone at DroidCon London and for some reason attending this live stream? I have no idea why you do that. I bet it's more exciting over there. But anyway. Right, single meal. We have a single meal. Let's look at the meal class. Just remember what we've actually got in here. We haven't got a lot. We've got an ID, a string, and a thumbnail. So a name and a thumbnail. Let's render those onto the screen. Ooh, wait a minute, Ben. Don't we have a very similar UI already in the categories thing? Yeah, we can reuse it. And here becomes some of the power of Compose, right? Maybe I shouldn't reuse this because there's well, it's badly named to start off with, single category item. Maybe I can rename it. In fact, let's rename it. I'm going to do F6 to rename the single category item to be single item, right? Right. And instead of taking a category, because look, all we need from category is the thumbnail and the string. Let's pass in the title. Let's pass in the title, string, and the thumbnail, which I think is a string as well, making our items even more reusable. Delicious. So this string category becomes title. This string category as well becomes title, and this thumbnail becomes thumbnail. Let's quickly fix where this is broken to start off with. Item dot dot string category, item dot thumbnail. I think that's right. So now we've made this. I should really move this component into like a shared area as well, to be honest. Not just sitting there. I'll maybe do that a bit later. But for now, this single item, let's just rerun it. Will work exactly how it used to. We just passed different data in, made it generic and reusable. And let me just get screen copy on the phone. It's there. It's working again. And I haven't actually wired it up to meals bit yet, but I'm going to do that. Oh, we got a question from Mahesh. Oh, Bruno. No, Bruno, don't sad face. I was joking, buddy. I was joking. Don't worry. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. I didn't mean it. It's the joke book. Okay? I promise. Mahesh, scaffold. Can you please tell us something about it? When to use it? Yes, absolutely. Have I got an example? I don't think I've used it in this. So the scaffold composable, if we go to the main activity, is like a wrapper for your entire app. If you want to have some really important, useful bits of Android apps that you will know and love. For example, the nav, the side drawer. So you can swipe in the side drawer, and put stuff in there, menu options in there, the side drawer. The bottom nav, the icons at the bottom. We haven't set any of this up in this app. Maybe we should do that as well. But the bottom nav is another option you can put in scaffold. Fab, a floating action button, is another sort of slot inside of the scaffold. And basically, you put this scaffold at the top layer of your app, and it becomes like your window. And your screens would fit into the content slot of the scaffold. You can obviously turn on and off, like any of those features. The side drawer, the bottom nav, gives you the toolbar at the top, all that stuff. It basically provides you the bog standard, like usually more pain in the ass to do in XML, Androidy stuff that aligns to like material theme components that most apps have. And maybe we will. Is my camera just gone? No, it's still there. Maybe we'll do some scaffold in a second. Is it any wonder you are on episode 3 with all this waffle? Gee, I couldn't agree with you more. Let's get some coding going. Great questions though. Great questions about scaffold. If we have time in probably stream 4, we got an hour. I'm going to code. So single item we turned into a reusable component now. So what I can do is go back to my dishes screen and instead of making a whole nother composable, in fact, we can even delete this composable, delete encode, delicious. We're going to use single item here. And look, title, thumbnail, on click. So title will be item dot string meal. Thumbnail tab will be item dot string thumbnail, and on click. I don't like this. If the last argument in the function is a lambda function, like it is the on click, you can just not include it in the actual function signature and add it as like a trailing lambda at the end. So I like to do that. And of course, this on click is still to do. When we click this, we need to navigate to our third screen. Anyway, with just that amount of code, let's rerun it and see if we have a now functioning meal list screen. Here we go. Chicken. Oh, chicken. Can you see? We reused. It doesn't look great. The padding and stuff isn't super. In fact, go back here. The padding wasn't super, but it was just more difficult to tell because the images were a bit more, had some spacing around it. But now we have a meal list with, again, the titles that have been thrown together, the images in there, and it's clickable. It's clickable because, if I go back to single item, we add this modifier .clickable to the card that we're reusing. And what happens when you click that card? The onClick, and it's going to pass back a string, and the onClick is still something that we need to do here to do. Excellent. Okay. Nice. We're doing it. Let's check the chat. Can you just run through your project? Hirishik. I can give you a very brief explanation of the project. We're using the mealdb API, this one. We're actually going to come back to this page in a second, to make a very simple recipe API, recipe app that has 3 screens. It has, when you start it up, disher. It shows you a list of categories from this API. When you click on one, it then looks for a list of dishes within that category. And then when you click on it, this is what we have yet to do. It'll take you to a details screen. Let's do that now. So the final bit of the API that we want to do is actually like a specific dish. So which one was it? Which dish was it? Look up meals by ID. Here we go. Look up meals by first letter, search meal by name. To be honest, probably actually want to use this now because we're going to have this name. No, let's stick with the ID. I want to use this one. Look up ID. If I just copy and paste this into here, we can see that this was searching 52772 was teriyaki chicken casserole, and we get a crazy response in there, which we're going to have to deal with in just a second. Vivek, yo Vivek, how you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. How are you doing? What's going on? We're now going to wire up this last screen. So let's, unfortunately, have to build the MVVM stack like we did last time. So we got categories, we got dishes, and both of those have model, repository, service layers, use case, view model cases. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Just bear with me. In fact, let's start. Let's do it. Okay, so new package. We're going to call it detail because this is going to be the detail screen package. I want to set up a couple of packages already. I want to set up model, although we probably don't need that. Oh, no, we do need that. Repository. We want to do... I should have made a script for this. That'd be a really nice idea. Service layer, because we're going to call... We want to have a use case layer. We want to have a view model package as well. So you can see in all of these, we have just like 1 or 2 things. Oh, question. Louis, using disposable effect to get dishes every time there is a configuration change, it will be triggered. Why don't you use the init block of the view model to get the dishes? Good question, Louis. So here's the problem. Here is the problem, he says. Where's dishes screen? Oh, I'm on it. So with dishes screen, we have to trigger something... Right, we have to trigger something in the view model. So yes, the init block would make sense, but the problem is we have to pass a something. We have to pass an argument, and that's why I'm using this disposable effect, because we have to take this argument that's part of the composable, the UI layer, and pass it into the view model. We can't just say, hey, view model, go. It doesn't know what it's going with. We need to pass this, and that's why this disposable effect is here, so that we can pass this category down. Now, if there's a better way of doing that, please let me know. Please let me know. Definitely, we need to have this side effect, this disposable effect, because we can't just call, this view model that I've just moved inside the composable. That's bad. That's bad juju as well, to be honest. So this side effect that only triggers once when the compose becomes into composition, triggering is the best solution that I could think of, because we have to pass that argument. Yeah, if you got a better idea, please let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear it. Back to the stack. Right, let's make some stuff. View model. Let's call it the detail view. Oh, Louis says, I got it. View model. Does that mean you've got it as in you got it? Like you're about to tell me something awesome and dope? Because if so, I'm all ears. Or is it like you got it, like you're satisfied with the answer? So if you're wondering what on earth I'm doing, I did this in the past 2 videos, just really quickly setting up my view model. I'm going to do inject here, just set up the sort of boilerplate to let me inject things into my view model. I'm going to go back to the dishes screen. Nope. I haven't even set up the screen yet for detail screen because I'm going too fast. I need to, in the details, I need to add one more thing. I want to call it detail screen. And it's not a class. Screw you. Not a class. It's a composable called detail screen, which takes as a parameter a view model. Oh my goodness, no. Which is of type detail view model, which of course we're using that fancy Hilt view model that sets it all up for us, does all of the injection, and so on. What am I doing here? Val, idiot. Idiot, it's a function. Bruno, it was nice to be here for a few minutes. I need to run, but I'll check in the video off stream. Bruno, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you for your joke number submission, and see you another time. On that note, if you would like a joke from the joke book, put a page number in the chat. A number from 1 to 280. I'm satisfied with the answer. In fact, we have to pass a parameter to the VUM. Yeah, cool. Appreciate it, Louis. How are you doing, Louis, by the way? Louis, we haven't spoken in a while. How are you doing? Is everything all right? I appreciate you being here. Great stream. Keep it up, Ben. Sending the love from Manan. Thank you. Appreciate it. If you've got any questions, anybody, please ask away. We've got 50 minutes left. I have been waffling, but I'm going to really quickly build this MVVM stack for the view model and below, so that we can get moving. I'm going to make a get details use case. This is my details screen use case that I'm going to do. Again, I've been sort of over abstracting things just to do it sort of like really good practice. I've been making use cases and not just doing like things in the view model. So here I'm going to add an interface, get details use case. I'm going to implement is the word I'm looking for. Implement the get details use case here. And again, here, this is a class that I'm going to have to inject things into. So I'm going to just prematurely set up the injector for that. And in fact, we'll come back to that in a second. But this is obviously going to take the repository here in a second. Let's set up the repository. Oh, good MVM stack. We're going to call it detail repository. Oh, I hate naming things. It's the hardest part. Again, let's do it. Let's abstract it out. Detail repository, and then our class is going to implement the detail repository. Again, here we're going to inject. The reason that I'm doing all of this obnoxious, like just fluff stuff, is because this is good practice. My app is entirely small and does nothing, but these layers are important when we want to do things to the data. We want to get something from the service, for example, mutate it in some way for the repository. Maybe we've got one repository that's shared amongst a bunch of different use cases. Maybe in the use case we have some business logic that says, like, I don't know, all that kind of stuff. So we're adding these layers for proper clean architecture, but we're not going to use it in my use case to its full potential. Louis says, everything all right? Good. Glad to hear it. Stay well, stay healthy. Vivi says 222, the number 222. He wants a joke, I assume. And we're going to read a joke from page 222. Sit yourselves down, get comfy. Let's have a mid zoom. I'm going to put my arm up here because it's cool. No, I'm not. The topic is royalty, Vivi. The topic is royalty. This is... Oh, my goodness. Okay, fine. I'll read it, but I'm not happy about this. What is the difference between the Prince of Wales and a tennis ball? One is heir to the throne, and the other is thrown in the air. 222. Excellent. Tiny round of applause for Vivi's joke number selection. Don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that clap. Well done. Air thrown in the air. Great. You can see my energy is plummeting. I'm going to have to drink this coffee. Mahesh, giving some laughter. Appreciate that. Vivi probably appreciates that as well. Yeah, put your page numbers in the chat. I'll read your joke. Distract myself from doing work. Okay, in the repository is where we'll inject the service, so let's do the service. Now, this is an interface this time. This is going to be an detail service. I've not been making it plural. And this is this is a retrofit thing we're setting up now. Let me just show you a previous one I've done. So here is the category service. We're going to use this weird sort of annotation to say what HTTP verb we're using for our API. It's just gets in these cases. And we're also going to call the function by name. We're making it a suspend function because coroutines, yeah, is acceptable or retrofit. And then we're going to have the response body. And this is going to be another thing we're going to deal with right now. For now, though, one that is more analogous to what we're doing is this filter one. And for speed, I'm going to copy and paste. You shouldn't really copy and paste. You should do your own code good. But this is my code, so I don't know what I'm talking about. And what was the... So this is... I'm saying we're getting an endpoint. We're going to call it not get dish for category. We're going to call it get details for dish. And it's going to return something. For now, I'm just going to return a string because I'm going to come fill that in later. And it will take a query, but I have to remind myself, firstly, what on earth the thing is that I'm looking up. Oh, yeah, so it's a lookup PHP. Let's just copy that and take it over to the code. To the code, I'm going to put it here. So we want this, instead of be filter, is now lookup PHP. And don't forget, in our DI, in our app module, we already set up our retrofit instance here. So it's going to be doing the mealdb.com v11, and then sticking on the end of it this lookup PHP, so that eventually it'll look like this, right? And also, I need to add the query parameter, the query parameter of I, which you can see there, and then pass in something. And that is actually the meal ID, which is a... it's a number here, but I'm not actually sure what form I have it in my model. So let's just look in dishes, model, meal. Yeah, ID meal is a string. So it's going to be a string coming in here. And this is going to return a type of something. Of course, it returns, as we saw before, this mess of stuff, right? I'm not going to talk about this object because I have some opinions about this object from the past. But what I will say is... excuse me? Actually, I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to use that API. Quick, change course. Change course. Let me just check my notes quickly on something. Why did I flip and put that? YouTube, vids. Oh my god. Okay, vids. Don't look at this. This is upcoming YouTube video ideas. Is it V notes? Is it possibly notes? There it is. Lookup. Oh, fine. I decided I needed the lookup thing. Flip. I was hoping there'd be a better one. It's fine. It's not a problem. It's just this thing. I'm going to point out why I'm a bit upset. Because look, the response that I get is a list of meals as opposed to a single meal, which is really stupid. It's an array of meals. So it's saying that, oh, potentially you could have returned a bunch of meals. So let me, in fact, just try and get rid of a bunch of these numbers here and see if it does. It doesn't. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't. But anyway, so what I'm going to have to do is extract the first object from that array. Bit of a pain in the ass, but doesn't matter. Right, we're going to copy and paste this. And this is the plugin that I constantly promote in these videos because it's bloody brilliant. Inside the model, I'm going to do right-click, new, Kotlin data class file from JSON. That's a plugin that you can find if you go to Android Studio. Oh my goodness, preferences, plugins. And if you go to market, in fact, let's just look at the installed one. It's this JSON to Kotlin class converter. Basically, you can paste a bunch of JSON and it will do all the class setting up for you. Saves a lot of time. So right click, new, Kotlin data class from JSON. I'm going to paste in the JSON. I'm going to hit format to see that it looks correct. And yeah, this is the disgusting bit about this class that I hate. Ingredients and the measurements are within this, like, oh, it's disgusting. Look, some of them are null, some of them blank. Anyway, we're not going to worry about that in this. It wants a base class name for what this object should be called. So I'm going to call it detail response. Hit enter. I'm going to hit no. Oh, I added one to get. Doesn't matter. And anyway, on the right, on the left even, you can see it made a details response. It made that class, and inside, it made a list of meals. Like I was saying before, it returns a list of meals, which is stupid. And it also made this meal class, which is a bit interesting because we also have a meal class over here, but this is a meal with a bit more oomph to it. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the details response. I'm going to change this to be meal detail. Oh yeah, it's red because I haven't set it up. And here I'm going to do right click, refactor, rename. We're going to do meal detail, refactor. Okay, so that one's meal detail now. And this returns meal detail. And this one over here is meal that was the like shorter, smaller one. Who is Jason, Vivi says. I bet there's some... Oh, right. Who is Jason? You sick... Everybody, developers, get him. Sickin' boy, get him. Who's Jason? Of course, Jason is... he's a friend of mine. Wait, I'm gonna... What was that song? Na, he was no friend of mine. I don't know. I shouldn't sing on stream. VV, you did this to me. I can't believe you've done this. Anyway, it's a meal detail now, and it's got all of this disgusting data in and these stupid measurements that sometimes are... Look at this! Look at this! Look at this! Look at this, because the response... Oh, this is sickening. Let me just paste it down here. What it was again. Oh, okay, fine. I've got that in my buffer instead. Jason is a cousin of Ben. He is. Jason is brothers with Ken. I mean, who's Ken? Ken Kadel. Mahesh wrote, what is clean architecture? How's it different from MVVM? That is a great damn question. A really interesting one. There's actually more of a pain in the ass to answer than you'd expect. MVVM, model, view model. Ways to slice up your architectural layers. Keep the UI and the data and all of that stuff decoupled apart from each other, right? Good. That's MVVM. Clean is Uncle Bob's thing. You might have seen Uncle Bob, who's this famous, renowned speaker in the programmer world that talked about clean architecture. Clean is a subset of... Sorry, hang on. MVVM is a subset of clean. Either it's clean as a subset of MVVM or MVVM is a subset of clean. Either way, they're very related. And from my understanding, which could be wrong, clean basically is the additional part of use cases, another abstraction layer that makes sure that your business logic is out of your view model, and all of the bits to, you know, separate it even further to make it better for testing, make it better for readability, maintainability, etc. So clean and MVVM in my world are one and the same, if that makes sense. And I believe that clean is like MVVM++ with use cases. That's what I understand. I could be wrong. Anyway, this disgusting object where these could be any because they were null. Flippin' hilarious, but not that funny. We now have our API returning a detail response, because that's what that API returns, a details response. Right. Details service is now done. We just need to call it from places. So let's go back up the layers. This is always just me, just like hang on. What's going on in my brain? My brain just farted. Yeah, I'm not going to go crazy. It's always just me just making architectural layers in this video. Right, so we're injecting the service in here, and we need to do something actually called the service. That's fine. The service isn't being injected yet. Let's go and do this as we go. In fact, we'll do it in one fell swoop. From the repository, we go up to the use case. We go up to the use case. The use case takes the repository repo called the idetails repository. Again, not been injected yet. We're going to come back to that in a second. And then finally, we go up to the view model. Zoom in there. Why you zoomed out? Weird. Val, what am I doing here? Use case. Use case is going to be the iGet. Nope. The iGet details use case. And in that, I've just realized that I screwed up in the repository. Nope, in the use case. In the use case layer, because I didn't. I did idetails repository. That's fine. Right. That was rapid, but we've connected up all our layers. We haven't done anything yet. I want to just quickly go to our DI, our app module, and make sure that I tell all of the injection how it should be injected. First of all, I want to make sure our service is part of our retrofit object. So I need to provide details service. Oh, I can't type. And this is going to go back and use my details service here. And we're basically just telling retrofit about this this class, this interface, sorry, that retrofit will then use to generate its like code generation for the HTTP request. Nice, we've done that. We got a question from Vivek. I'm gonna check in a second, Vivek. I just want to finish wiring this up. I want to also use a binds, and this is a Dagger Hilt thing to bind when my code says, hey, give me a I whatever. In this case, an I detail, which I'm gonna do in the use case. I say, okay, when I ask for an iDetail use case, I want to actually get a detail use case, the implementation of it. And it shouldn't be called provide dish thing. It should be provide get details use case, right? Doesn't matter. And then down here, how have I been doing this? Repository use case, repository use case. So over here, I will copy this for speed, or the attempt of speed. And I'll put it in front of my details use case. And then same again here. Whenever I ask for an iDetail repository, I'm going to get a implementation of the detail repository. I'm going to change this name to provide detail repo. I can't bother typing. Anyway, we've wired up all of the bits. We can now see where is that being injected into the use case, for example. Ta-da-da, easy peasy. We've wired up our hilt of it all. Let's check the things here. Oh my goodness, a bunch of things came in. Why don't you remove those params which are not needed in the meal details data class? Every meal details screen will have same info. No? Vivek, correct. This meal detail thing, I don't know yet what I'm going to use from it. So in fact, let me dive into another point. This model, meal detail, is in my service layer, like my model layer, if you like, right? What I'd really like to do, obviously I grab all of the data from the API response in this class, all of the disgusting extra bits, and what I would really do in the real world is convert that model layer, the model layer model, into like a domain layer model or a view layer model. Basically, I would convert that meal, I'd have another class called like, terrible naming, but meal detail UI or something. Not that good, not that name, don't use that. And I'd convert this data class into that data class and remove the bits of data I'm not interested in and only have the data that the UI will actually render. So that's a really good point. For now, though, I don't know what I'm going to use, and I think I'm not going to do that whole like class converter thing. I'm just going to keep it even simpler for now, although I might do in a second. But for now, I don't know what I'm going to use, so I'm going to just keep it all for now. But in a domain layer or a UI layer, I absolutely would get rid of most of that crap because it won't be visible on screen. Mahesh, I already asked this, but you did not notice it. Can we do some animation notifications or room database in the next live session? Sorry, Mahesh, buddy. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you previously. Sorry about that. So with the question, animation notifications or room database in the next live session. Notifications and room. So hang on, notifications probably not, because I don't plan on doing notifications for this, but maybe we can do it in a future video or live session, sure. Room and animation is interesting, and we might do that, because obviously this live stream is going to drag on into like part 10 or something stupid like that, just making a simple app. But yeah, in those future sessions, we can definitely do some animation, and I want to like show you some of like the animate visibility and stuff in Compose, which is really quick, easy ways of like adding fades and, well, whatever animations you want for things that are coming in and off the screen and so on. And room database would be a really nice caching layer for our persistent caching layer for our meals and database responses, so that if we couldn't access the network, we could instead say, hey, room, what have you got? So yes, short answer, I'd love to do that in future episodes. I'll put it in my mind box. And again, sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you before. I didn't catch that one. Mohammed says, hi, Ben. Hello, Mohammed. Welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful evening or whatever day, maybe where you are. I don't know. Vivek, yeah, kind of like domain mapper. Got it. Yeah. Vivek, appreciate the question, though. It's nice to talk about that because it is important. I think for this project, I'm probably just going to be lazy. Although I've been doing everything else like cleanly, so maybe I shouldn't be lazy. We'll come to that. Right. Whew, sorry. We have just wired up our hilt to tell it how to inject everything in the sun in our new MVVM stack for the detail package. Okay. So now we need to start calling things. Again, we're going to have a ID to call inside of our view model. I'm definitely going to run out of time. Mohammed says, night, bro. Thanks. Good night. Good night, buddy. Sleep well if you're heading off. Sleep well. Thanks for coming by. I'm definitely going to run out of time. Doesn't matter. We're going to have that ID of the dish that we're going to sort of dig into and get the details of. So I need to have a function here like get details for dish ID. We're going to give it, it's going to take an ID and it's going to be of type string. And in here, we're going to trigger the view model scope.launch. I'm sort of skipping the gun here to do the actual network request, or like at least call down the line. The details use case, I'm going to start with an operator function. Operator suspend function, in the get details use case interface that's going to be called invoke. Okay, in that we're going to pass it a meal string as well to make the request, and it's going to return for now. Oh Christ, I forgot what the data type is, so we'll come back to that. Anyway, the fact that we've called it invoke means that I can do, for example, where's that view model gone? There, here. I can do use case. See, this use case is referring to a get dishes use case. This get dishes use case has an invoke function, and because that's an operator function called invoke, I don't need to call .invoke. I can just do use case open brackets and trigger it like that. I really like that. Check out the past videos for more explanation about that. Anyway, yeah, you're right. You're right, Android Studio. I did that the wrong way around. Suspend function. I'm gonna overwrite here. And now we can do that. In here, we're going to call repo dot, oh my God, dot something, but I haven't done it yet. So let's jump into the repo. In here, I want to call get details of dish. Oh my God, the names are all over the place. Again, pass that ID all the way down, and I'm going to call it string for now, but I know it's not string. I've just forgotten the data type that I'm actually returning. And in here, finally, we hit the service layer dot get dish, get details for dish. Now, whew, okay, we did all that way down, but let me just jump back to our other repository. All of our layers have been suspend layers because I want these just to be suspend function, coroutine functions that I'm going to pass right back up to the view model scope that will trigger. So unfortunately, I need to go back and add suspend to a bunch of places. So in the repository, I just want to return this thing. Why is that upset? It's because it's not a string. Details response. Thank you. Details response. So the repository is going to pass back up the, oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm losing my marbles here. So the suspend function in the retrofit call is going to be passed back up into the repository, which goes back up into the use case, which is a suspend function already, but we're going to return the repo dot get dish for ID there, and that's fine. It's going to complain because it's not of the same type. Excuse me? Are you chill? Oh, right. Right, okay. There we go. It's not of the same type. It's a details response. And again, actually, this is the point going back to Vivek's question before. At one of these layers, at the repository layer or the use case layer, is where I would convert it from the data layer into like a domain layer thing, or you know, further up the chain. So I do that conversion here at this point. Yeah. So where were we? Use case, not that use case. Get details use case. Oh, I was in the file already. So we're passing that back up, and then we go to the view model. How are we doing numbers wise? We've still got 8 people. Bless you for staying around. I hope you're all doing very well. I know I'm having a great time. I'm just sorry that I'm being very slow today and very talky. Right. Back in our view model, we have the get details for dish ID. Of course, we have to pass in that dish ID. That's important. And we want to trigger it like we did in the dishes view model, where we had, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to take this, copy it, and paste. Let's get rid of the outside wrapper there. I'm also not going to deal with the UI state here probably because of laziness. But what I am going to do is still use the meal detail. And we'll see what type that is. It's a detail response. Oh, some response. I'm not even explaining things very well anymore. My brain's gone into slow mode. So Mert asks, mate, is it possible to testing state inside a view model? For example, can we assert its first and second value? That's a great question. So asserting the state as in, was it loading? Was it success, etc. If I just jump back to this dish thing. Short, immediate answer, I'm not actually sure. I think the state, let me just try it here. ViewState.value. Get value. I don't think it does any caching for this state variable. Value t, get value. I think not, possibly. I think you can't. I think you. Oh, obviously you can assert its current value. So if you like triggered your view model, it initted with loading and then went to success immediately or something, then I think you'd get success as your value of the thing. And of course you can test against that. As instead, what I would recommend is doing like a state flow. Is it a flow? Wait, one of those, you can capture each of the values that gets emitted from it. To be honest, I'm going to sort of just stop with the answer there because I'm feeling like I don't know enough, so I shouldn't really fully properly answer that because I don't know the right answer and I don't want to give you the wrong details. But yeah, my guess is that you can get, obviously you can test and assert the current state of the state. It's just like if you want to look at like previous state values that were emitted, I think you need to use a more complex flowy object, possibly like state flow or shared flow or something like that. Sorry, I didn't really answer the question, Mert, but it's a good question. I would like to look that up actually before the session is over to find the answers. Anyway, we have meal response here, and I'm going to set, in fact, we're going to steal stuff again from here. I'm going to basically copy and paste that ViewState thing from the other class, and I'm just going to call it meal is the state object that I'm going to pass back to the view. This is going to be a, what was the data type again? Oh yeah, it's a meal detail, right? Meal detail. So it's going to pass a meal detail back to the view. Mutable state of, oh yeah, this is interesting because state needs to have a default value. We need another Jake Wharton library for testing state. I'm like, yeah, Jake Wharton's probably on it already. He's probably got like 7 of them already. Yeah, we need a Ben, get your brain into order, buddy. We need a starting value for it. So in this case, in the first screen, it was like an empty list. In the second screen, where I implemented the proper UI state, like loading an error, it was loading. In here, I'm just going to have like null. And this maybe isn't the best practice, but I really don't care at this point. A nullable meal detail, right? So we have a writable private underscore meal, mutable state, and then it's read by the immutable meal state that the UI will actually consume. So we have the meal detail response here, which remember has a list of meals. So we'll just do that, and we'll just always get the first of it. And again, this might actually not be safe because we might be getting multiple meals. We might be getting no meals. For now, I'm going to do the lazy man's way and just get the first one. Okay. Then I'm going to do the private mutable state of underscore meal and set the response to be that. So I set the private mutable one's state to be the first item in the response, and then that is going to be posted up to the UI because this public meal value is going to be read by the UI. All right, I think we're there. I need to now just wire up the UI. So let's go to details screen. Hoo-hoo! Yeah, very good. Oh god, I haven't even known. Okay, I need to add as part of the details screen, like we had before, meal ID, which is a string that's coming in. We're going to need a side effect here to actually trigger that view model call, because remember, we're getting information from the UI layer and passing it into this get details for dish. So what I'm going to do when we're going to use a disposable effect again. There's another one actually that was really nice called launched effect, which again takes a key and a block, but that blocks a coroutine scope, which is really nice. So you can trigger like share flow collections or something like that inside of that launched effect. Anyway, we're not doing that. We're doing disposable effect. I'm going to pass it the key of unit. Was it unit last time? I'm just trying to stay consistent. Category screen. I'm pretty sure it was, oh my god. What an idiot. It wasn't category screen. It was dishes screen. Dishes screen. It was unit, and I just deleted something there. It was unit because it never changes. We're not interested in actually listening to something that changes. And of course, that effect isn't, we don't want that. We want to do trailing lambda syntax. We need an on dispose block as well to make that dispose happy. So something that happens when the composable is no longer being composed and is being disposed. We've got 9 people still. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? We're 20 minutes till the end of the stream. Put page numbers in the chat. Page from 1 to 280. I'll read you a joke if you put a page number in the chat. It's that simple. Hi, all, as well. Let me know where you're from and how you're doing tonight and how is everything. Vivi says, joke time, page 42. Vivi, you still here, buddy? I appreciate you greatly. You probably aren't interested in the slightest about any of this garbage. But I appreciate that you're still here. So Vivi's joke on page 42. It's a great topic. Cannibals. Cannibals. All right, here's the joke. I'm just going to try and randomly pick one. Mahesh, if you want a joke, buddy, put a page number in. I'll do it. Oh, no. No, that's dreadful. Okay, fine. I think you might have heard this one. We're all here. Dan the man. Dan the superhero man. Save the day. You're going to save the day as well. We've still got 20 minutes, Dan. I can still screw up in 20 minutes. Anyway, let's do this cannibals joke. Two cannibals are eating a clown. You've heard this one before. Are eating a clown when one turns to the other and says, "Does this taste funny to you?" Dreadful. Good joke number though. Okay, the joke numbers are coming in fast. Mahesh 55. Vivi, I hope you enjoyed that. Let's get another joke in and then I'll code a little more. Oh no. Okay. Okay. I spotted the theme computers and there's only one joke on that page. So we're gonna do for Mahesh page 55 computers. What happens if you get a gigabyte? It megahertz. It megahertz. What the heck, man? What happens if you get a gigabyte in megahertz? Do you know what? This book is just... I think I want to be buried with this book somehow. That was brilliant. Right, back to the code. Disposable effect. I've got to just jump straight back into it. So in the disposable effect... we want to, remember, as a side effect to our composition, we want to call this get details for dish ID screen. Of course, we need to pass that in. We just passed it into the composable function called mealdb. And it's that simple. Let me just go back to the category screen and show you this one. Oh, God, not the category screen. Ooh, it's the dishes screen. Show you this one. So we did a null check here in this one. I'm actually going to nick that as well because that's a really useful idea. But hopefully we won't be having a null... mealdb. But yeah, that's there was a question earlier about nullability of the category ID. This is how I sort of mitigated it. I basically just didn't do the network call if it was null. So right now, this category is saying, yes, I'm nullable. I'm also going to say, yeah, this mealdb is nullable. Anyway, now we're good. Side effects can be triggered, and we're going to get some compose happening. I need to collect the state. That's a terrible word to use, collect. It's not flow. Don't be an idiot, but collect the state, and then display it. Let's just wire up the navigation to this screen really quickly back in the main activity. So this is where our nav host is. Minimize that, zoom this in. I hope you can see the code, by the way. I haven't even been asking this time. We need to add one more composable block. This is just a chunk of compose that is part of our navigation graph. We need to give it a root. I'm going to give it the detail root. I'm going to / it in curly brackets, and this is going to be a meal ID. Okay, meal ID. In fact, for speed, I'm going to just copy and paste all of this. Copy and paste all of this into here. It's going to take an argument. This meal ID should be the same throughout. So it's going to take a nav argument of meal ID. It's going to be of type string. And again, I'm not bothered about nullability here. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to nick this as well from the categories. From the dish screen. I always keep saying category screen, which is basically grabbing that argument from the navigation. So actually grabbing it. So I'm going to do meal string ID or something like that. The arguments, get string, category. It's not called category anymore in this composable. It's called meal ID. And then we can, underneath that, we can pass, we can trigger our detail screen and pass in the meal ID of, you guessed it, meal ID str. And this is if I just do it, it's a nullable string. Remember this get string method, it might not find meal ID and it might return null. And we actually deal with the nullability down in the detail screen level. Whoa, we wired up that. We need to wire up the on-click for the dishes screen. Look how fast I'm going. I love this. Okay, so dishes screen. Go back to the old screen, dishes screen. I need to add a lambda on here. On dish click lambda. For now, I'll just leave it as an empty lambda. We need to come back and deal with that. So now we take in a lambda. So when something is clicked, this dish list, we'll take this on dish clicked here. So dish list is now we're going to pass this lambda basically down the chain into the actual composable that's rendering. So remember we did a dish list screen. We're going to pass that lambda down into that. And then when one of these single items gets clicked, we have this to do already. We're going to do on dish click. And what on dish click wants is nothing at the moment, but we want a string. So actually we should pass item dot ID meal. What's up with you? Oh, yeah, because I've not told it this has a string yet. So hang on. ID, string. We need to pass the response back up the chain, back up the chain, back up the... Ah! Oh, I hate Macs sometimes, man. Hate them. Oh, my God. What have you done? I can't believe you've done this. Here, I need to make sure I've got ID. Oh, what am I doing? It's a lambda. It's just string, dingus. Just string. My God. Probably someone was looking at the screen like, what the heck is he doing? Anyway, on dish click, it's passed back up the chain to dish's screen. We need to go back to the main activity. Remember I said at the start of this video, I never like to pass the nav control around, keep it in the main activity, instead have lambda functions that trigger back up the chain. This is exactly that. I'm going to have my nav controller at this layer do a navigate. And what am I navigating to? Let's just nick this for speed. So in my category screen, remember I navigated to list of dishes. We're going to do navigate to dishes, but we're not going to do dishes. Instead, we're going to do to detail and pass it this thing, it, right? In this case, it was called category because I renamed that the output. In fact, I'm going to rename this to be dish ID so that the it reference is a bit scrupulous. What's up with you? Typo, dish ID, of course there is. It's not a real word. What kind of exercise does dishes do? Pilates. I guess you want me to say it like Pilates? Or no, Pilates. Pilates. I don't know. I'm being an idiot. Hello to those of you that are still here. I appreciate you greatly. We're 15 minutes away from the end of stream. If you want a joke, then you've come to the right place. You've come to the right place. We have this joke book. Put a number of a page that you want me to read from 1 to 280 in the chat, and I'll read it. Welcome. Also, how you doing? How you doing? I've not heard much from you today. I hope everyone's all right. Everyone's very quiet. We've wired up our final screen. This went like flipping crazy. Anyway, our dish screen now navigates to the detail screen, passing this dish ID to it, which then gets collected by the detail screen, and the detail screen triggers this this call. Just for my own sanity, before I wire up the UI, I'm going to put a little log in here, and I'm going to just make sure that that ID is coming through correctly. Okay, I think we're at a stage where I'm going to run the app and see what happens. Vivi says page 128. I knew you'd do this. This is why I sort of lied a little bit. The page numbers go a little bit higher than 128. But I knew someone would do this, Vivi. I felt it was probably you. So I had a couple buffer at the end. So 128, I will do that. The theme is witches. Witches. Oh, and the app's just run. Hang on, quick joke and then we'll go. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Okay. How do you make a witch scratch? Drop the W to make her itch. Vivi, this is your fault. How do you make a witch scratch? Drop the W to make her itch. That's dreadful. It's bad. You should feel bad. But not really. I love you. But nice try with the whole page 281. Played you there, son. Right, let's go to chicken. Right, there's our screen that we did for the dish list. I want to do Chick-fil-A sandwich. Oh, yeah, we didn't actually do any UI. Let's just log out BK and see if there's an ID. Let me go back. Let's do chicken mushroom pot pie. You can see these IDs, although we don't know for sure that they're the right IDs, we're getting IDs through when we come to that screen. So things are happening. And in fact, I don't know why I did that. I should have just actually here done another log for the actual output of the request. That would have made way more sense. What's it called? Meal response. Oh my God. Come on, Ben. Meal deal response. Meal deal. Meals. We'll get the first one. This is just for logging. I'm sorry. Let's get the title. Is there a title? Name? No. Oi, oi, oi. Look at these. Okay. Stra meal. I guess that's the name of the meal. Anyway, we're going to log that we're getting that data back correctly as well, just really quickly. Let me give a couple of new lines. Right. Let's get the app on the screen. Scrolly. Pasta. Lasagna sandwiches. Click. Hooray! Lasagna sandwiches. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to hit lasagna. Go over here. Lasagna. We've connected up the third screen. We're passing in the ID. We've hit the last endpoint, the filter or lookup endpoint. I can't remember what it is now, to get the meal details. Now we need to actually put some UI on the screen, and this is the bit where I can slow down now because I don't think we have enough time to do a full UI, but I'll try my best to see what happens. Let's have questions instead. Lots of questions. because we've essentially created our 3 screens and our entire navigation flow. That was like the main part of it. We also created our entire MVVM stack with clean, with use cases, yada, 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 making these one-shot API requests. We're getting some questions. Oh, yeah, dab it. I shouldn't dab on camera. I shouldn't ever dab, especially on camera where it stays on the internet forever. Mahesh says, we have a single view model in every screen. For example, if we have ratings or comments in detail screen, how do we organize the rating comment view model? Good question. And actually, this is possibly a point of contention. I would put a view model for each screen. So if there would be a comments or ratings on the details screen, the details screen view model, or in our case, the details view model, would be the controller of that data. Now, where it gets interesting, ratings and comments sounds like something that could be reused in different areas of the app, right? Different screens might have, the ratings on them. Different screens might have comments on them. At this point, our view model is the controller of our UI screen and gives it the data it should show. So ratings and comments would be acceptable in there, but maybe that view model would connect to a get comments use case, which could also be used by another screen somewhere, get comments use case. And then that might connect to a comments repository, which might connect to a comments API or a room database or a local persistent database on the phone to get the comments. Does that make sense? So the view model isn't just giving the data about the details, it's giving the data for the entire details screen. It's just maybe the name isn't super duper there, if that makes sense. So if you were adding comments and things there, they would be another, in my world, they would be other states. They would be other states that would be fetched from somewhere, from a use case like this, and presented back into the view model and then presented to the UI for rendering. Does that make sense? Hope so. 10 minutes left. We might actually finish this stream on time. Is there anything... in fact, I want to open it up to you in the last 10 minutes. I should start doing some UI, so if nobody has a suggestion, I'll do some UI for this details screen. But is there anything anyone would like to particularly see or would like to know about? If you've got any questions, or if you want me to go over a particular part of the app, or if you want me to do something really quickly code-wise, let me know. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat, but just for now, whilst you're thinking about it, maybe... post some page numbers in the chat as well. Page numbers in the chat for some jokes. I will crack on with some details screen. So details screen will get a what is the data type again? It's a single meal, so it's a single dish. Oh my god! By remember. So we're actually grabbing now. We're actually going to communicate with the view model. We need to import remember, and I think it's probably still going to have a problem. I spoke about this in another video, one of the previous ones, but if ever your remember function's like, oh, I don't know what remember function is, you can just find the import for Compose runtime and add get value, and I also like to add set value as well, and then remember's like, wait for it. Oh, it's because I haven't actually put anything in the remember. Let me just prove that that's that's the mutable state of that, just to prove that it's legit. Yeah, then the remember goes, oh yes, I remember what a remember is. Vivek has asked me a question. I'm going to answer in just a second. It's a question I like. I'm going to answer that in just a second. Delete till curlies. But for now, I'm just going to communicate with the view model. .meal was that state variable that's passing back a single meal, and remember we've just taken the top one off the stack. Let me put it actually in the UI. Just for now, I'm going to do a text, not a text field. What the heck? Outrageous. Disgusting. Single dish dot meal. That was the stupid name of it, wasn't it? Oh, and single dish can be nullable. What a nightmare. And this is the bit where now I'd actually put some UI state or something, and maybe it's an error if it's null. But for now, I'm just going to do this, which you'll all hate. Single dish. Let's do a let block. Let's do a let block. So I'm going to do a let block, which isn't the bad part, but this is basically a let block that says only run this chunk of code if this is not null. And it's going to have the reference it instead. It's going to change its reference. So now I'm only running this compose if meal is not null. And let's just run it. And then I'll answer Vivek's question. How was your DroidCon Berlin, though? Vivek, it was Excellent. I can't wait for the video and the images to come out. I was saying at the start of the video, I don't like to blow my own horn particularly, but I really was proud of what I did there. I had a great time. I had a really good fun. Some great people to meet that are in this chat right now. Z and Mert and everybody. It was just really a pleasure to meet people. And I loved being on stage. I had such a good time. It was so much fun. And it just really made me realize that like what I want from my life is to do more sharing and presentations and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's probably because I just love the limelight, but I just had fun on stage and it's so weird and enjoyable. Yeah, so thanks for the question, Vivek. Camel case versus using underscores. Which is better and why? Is it camel case? Vivi asks. Great question, actually. Great question, actually. So he's asking about the question of like this sort of syntax versus, this sort of syntax. The top one is snail case. I can't remember. It's either snake or snail. And this one's camel cases because of the humps of the T's. For Kotlin, traditionally, and I think just overall in the Kotlin world, the camel case is the more sort of acceptable thing, I think. Let me just write but everything works. It does work. If you get oh no, that's just saying another problem. But yeah, am I right in thinking that like snail case / snake case, whatever the correct wording is a Python-y sort of esque kind of thing? I could be wrong. I don't really write any Python anymore. But yeah, for Kotlin and Java, for some reason, camel case is the adopted thing, and I'm not particularly sure why. Like, I'm sure there's some historical thing there to it. Yeah. And Mahesh says camel case is better. Word. Vivi says no, Python still uses camel. Okay, interesting. So who uses snake? So I know that like XML tags and IDs and strings and stuff in the Android world, we use snake or snail case, whatever the hell it's called. Is it snake or snail? Maybe someone can tell me. If you're not a monster. Okay, for Python. Yeah, okay. You're a big Python fan, Vivi. And Python is nice, and I enjoy Python. But, yeah. Python. Just that's for you. Wait, here, Vivi, this is a gift for you. Feel free to turn this into your ringtone or whatever. Wait. Vivi? Python. I'm a terrible person. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Louis says, if you have a lot of observable properties in your view models, how would you deal with that? That's a really good question, and I'll answer it by saying this. The observable properties, so the things that your UI is like listening to from your view model when the view model updates it, should only be the things that are being displayed on the UI, and that's a really important distinction. Maybe you've got a class that has a bunch, like my meal detail screen. Let me just show you that, meal detail. You maybe have a class that has a bunch of information, but maybe 90% of it is never actually physically put on screen or used in like a navigation event or another event or anything like that. In that case, you know, obviously the amount of data that's going onto the screen is getting less and less and less. Therefore, you'll have less observables by proxy. But actually, I think it was you, Louis, that asked me last video about the dishes screen. Oh, I'm on dishes screen. What an idiot. About these view states. And actually, this is a great way to make a sort of basically a single or maybe one or two observable fields that your UI is listening to, because you're encapsulating all of your potential responses in this view state. You know, if the thing is loading, you've got loading. If the thing is success, you've got success, and you've got the data type in it. If you've got an error, you've got, again, the message or whatever it is that's part of the error UI, the actual things that are getting displayed. It's really important to say. So you can basically mitigate and get rid of a bunch of those observables and just have this one sealed class view state thing that we set up last session as your like single actual data source for the view model. Of course, reality is that view models are never that easy. Maybe they are sometimes, but in real world scenarios, they'll never be super simple like that. Maybe you've got one or two, but the fact that you're only providing information that's being observed that actually gets rendered, and maybe you can encapsulate all of the data in like a sealed class view state thing, will really bring those observable numbers down. Great question. Google says snake case for those underscores. Right. Amazing. We're 2 minutes away from my proposed end of stream. I've done, God, no UI let's just, oh yeah, I was running the app, wasn't I? Sorry, here we go. We did add, just connected the UI up with the remember function. Banana pancakes, banana pancakes. Next session, I guess there's going to be a next session. We will maybe do some actual compose because there's loads to do. There's like error and loading states that I need to do for like multiple screens. And maybe like somebody in the chat, who was it actually? I want to give them the proper kudos that they deserve. Mahesh said about maybe animations and room for persistent data caching as well for these responses. So there's plenty to do. Before I go, in fact, should we jump back to my face view now? I think we're good. I think we're heading towards the end. Before I go, if anybody has any questions, or some last minute jokes, thank you, Mahesh. I will do the joke in a second. He says page 72. Please just chat to me. I will actually, when I end this stream, I'll leave it going live a little bit, and I'll still be here just having a drink and a chill. I can answer some of your questions in the chat if you want to. And also let me know about things that you want to see in future streams, because now we've set up essentially all of the screens. Yes, we have a load of UI to do, but there's other things that we can do as well. Database caching, animations, like Mahesh said. Dan's just said, yeah, add local persistent cache. So I'm thinking room next time. Maybe not next video. I've got lots of compose to do, but room for some caching might be quite nice. And then split, maybe if we get an error from the network for some reason, instead of presenting an error, we can be like, yo, here's some stored data. Something like that. Louis says, thank you for the explanation. I understood it. Awesome. I appreciate that. I appreciate you all for being here. We've had a lot of people. Let's end with joke 70, page 72, and then we'll wrap up the stream. And just before I do this, I do really honestly mean thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope my energy levels weren't too low today. I definitely am feeling a little bit low energy today, but hopefully you couldn't tell. I had fun still. We had some jokes, and yeah, this was great fun. And finally, I've got 3 flipping screens for this stupid app that was supposed to finish ages ago. Oh yeah, this app, by the way, this meals app, it's for a video that me and another YouTuber that goes by Art of Software. We've done collabs in the past on previous videos. We want to do like a comparison between React Native apps and native Android apps. So I was supposed to have this finished ages ago. He's done his ages ago, and we're supposed to compare them in a video. Anyway, I'll get to it. Mahesh, page 72. Dinosaurs. Oh, should we do dinosaurs, or there's limericks right next to it? There's diets. Let's do a limerick to finish, because the limericks are absolutely fantastic. Get cozy, everybody. Wrap up warm. Hug your loved ones, and let's have a limerick that is on the theme of diets. There was an old fellow named Green who grew so abnormally lean and flat and compressed that his back touched his chest, and sideways he couldn't be seen. Green, the skinny guy who couldn't be seen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here on the stream. I appreciate it more than you can possibly understand. I guarantee you there's going to be a stream part 4 because I have so much still to do. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your joke pages. Thank you for your questions. And Rick. Vivi want me to say it for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I've been Ben Kadel. If you've enjoyed this live stream, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Maybe consider subscribing. You don't have to, though. I'm not your dad. Or your mum, actually. Or your parent in general, right? But consider subscribing. It helps me out. I love seeing those numbers go up. And if you've enjoyed this live stream, check out some of my actual other videos. Like, I don't just do live streams. In fact, arguably, live streams are the things that I have done very few of. I do videos that are edited to the max. I love it, and it's a lot of stupid fun for me. So go check those out, especially if perhaps there's any Vim users in the audience or any terminal users. It's my domain, and of course some Android stuff. Anyway, I've got to stop rambling. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you all for being here, and yeah, I will see you next time. Have a great evening.
pronounced limerick. Limerick, not limerick. Limerick. It's pronounced